right direction, and we're going to continue to hope that he's able to stack days and feel good, and that's what's happened so far. And I thought there was some good rushes that we had where we had to move and manipulate the pocket, activated all parts of the field, and so I think yesterday it was good for him to be able to get a feel. I don't know, I think it was good for him to be able to go through the whole practice. You could see, as he gets himself immersed in team activities, he's just totally present and getting his feet wet a little bit. And I thought today was definitely a positive step in the right direction, and we're going to continue to hopefully stack days like that.
Are you seeing anything just observing him? Does he look completely like himself? Does it look like he's still working through?
Yeah, he looks good. I mean, he looks good to me. I think like anything else, you can't simulate the speed at which this game is played and the way that we try to practice while still protecting each other. And so I think being able to just get your eyes in the right place and understand that, I think he'd probably be able to tell you what I felt was a guy that was more comfortable today. Really, I think trusted the fact that, he felt good yesterday and allowed him to be able to take a step in the right direction. But, I'll be consistent with you guys. I was really pleased and happy that he was able to take part in these last 2 days. But I think the smart thing is to take it a day at a time, because the reality is we're trying to get our hands on this and get him to feel as good as possible. Backs can be a volatile thing. This is definitely positive progress. But what I think you want to be able to do is say, hopefully after a few minutes settle down, am I still feeling good? Do I wake up tomorrow still feeling good? And those are the steps that I think are the appropriate measures to be able to take. But it certainly is trending in a positive direction for us. Yeah, I'd rather keep all that stuff, internal. Start your question over, I'm sorry. Yeah. I think he'd be better equipped to answer that. What I do think is you don't get good at football unless you play football. And what we try to do is mimic and emulate game-like situations and setting while minimizing the risk for injury at practice. And what I do feel good about is I think when we go good on good, you're getting really good players positively pushing one another and really trying to be able to toe the line while protecting each other. And I think feeling that rush, feeling the pocket collapse, feeling some of the different coverage contours, the different pressures that we're able to activate, repetition is the mother of learning. And I don't care whether you're Matthew Stafford, whether you're Steph Curry, whoever you are, these guys get great at their sports by being able to play it. That's why we want to do a great job. If this is the direction that we're headed, we want to try to be able to smartly accumulate as many reps as possible before September 7th. And I do think that the experience helps him. Having 17 years or going into year 17 is beneficial, but I think he would tell you that it still is great to be able to get out here. All the reps he got in the spring, I think, were helpful. It's a different speed. There's different things that we're activating when we're in pads. There's a little bit more volume on both sides. I think he's handled the last 2 days really well. And I'll be just like, I think a lot of fans and a lot of his teammates and coaches that you're really hopeful that this is the direction that we continue to just stack good blocks so we can build a good foundation and allow him to be the Matthew that we're accustomed to seeing and feel as good as possible by the time the opener comes around. He did. Yeah, this has been kind of consistent, Maria, with what we've done. I think he's in a great place, and so it was nothing more than that. Yeah, I don't know about that yet. We'll see.
First couple of preseason games, you had those inter-squad scrimmages. Did you want to do that with Cleveland, or did you not?
I did. It didn't fit for them. We were supposed to go to Minnesota and practice against them in the third week. There was some, just logistics with regards to the NFC having 2 home games and 1 away, and the AFC, flipping that because of the 9 and 8 schedule now, the way that that's set up. And so we were trying to be able to do that. It didn't work out. And when I ended up, when the schedule was released and we're playing the Browns in the third preseason game, I think Kevin and his group had already had some other stuff set up, talking about Stefanski. So it didn't necessarily fit, but we have some plans to be able to do something similar with our group next Thursday.
Is there any?
Yeah, he got a bad ankle sprain. He's so tough. It was kind of a knee and an ankle. So he got his, I think it was his PCL. He's so damn tough, and so it'll be a few weeks for him.
Is there any update on Willie Lampkin's health?
That's what he was just asking.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah, you're good.
For Larry Jackson, have you guys made a decision if he'll play week 1 yet?
We have a good idea, but again, I want to just, kind of take it a day at a time with he and Matthew. You know, these are situations, and I know that's probably frustrating for you guys. We're hopeful, you know, but again, it could be any sort of setback. There's no reason to think that, you know, but this is a situation that I haven't navigated before, but he's doing great. You know, he's handled it like a stud, like I mentioned yesterday. And I think, you know, his focus and concentration is being ready to go for week 1, and that would be a great situation for us if that's the case. Oh, we've done way more. That's the only thing we do at practice now, and that's kind of been consistent really since we put pads on. I think it's a good way to be able to create that good stress. You know, we really talk about growth demands discomfort when we get our guys really pushing one another, and there is an element of at some point. All right, we've seen enough of each other. You know, that's why I love doing those joint practices. It changes up the monotony of sometimes what practice can feel like, but I think our guys have done a really good job. You know, I mean, you look at some of the work that our offensive line is getting from the D line and vice versa, and DBs versus the receivers, backs being able to see some different things based on us activating players inside, and so I've been really pleased with it, and I think that's, you know, I think it's good to be able to create that callus that's necessary for us, especially because, you know, we've only had 2 of those joint practices, and then there is an element of, because we don't play in those preseason games, what's the closest thing that we can get to creating some of those good nerves that you feel when you're in competition that I think is healthy and lets you know you're alive.
Yeah.
Okay? You like that one? There you go. Thanks, guys.